I talk for a living, and I can't think of what I'm trying to say. Except that in the few days I've known you, you've added color. I hope when the concert's over, that's not over, too. Anyways, I guess that's about what I'm trying to say.
Hey. How you feeling? What?
Hi, Dennis. Is she awake?
Yeah. You better take a look, Doc. I'll go in there. All right, so just...
What do you feel when you swallow?
Just go with me on this.
What is it, darling? What do you feel?
She says it feels like pinpricks. Sorry, but there's no way you're going to be able to sing.
I can do it. I'll be fine. It's okay.
No. I'll call Bill. I'll cancel the show.
Mom?
Gotcha. You couldn't.
Yep.
All of you were in.
It did hurt yesterday.
As far as I'm concerned, the whole lot of you should be put away. What goes around comes around.
I am never speaking to you again.
Good.
I'm gonna see that your license is revoked.
And I'll see you at the show.
Bye. No. You almost really did give me a heart attack then. Move! I hate you! All of you!
Well, we still have a big problem. We're on tonight and we haven't practiced. Just like riding a bike.
What you see and hear on this television station is governed by IRCA's Code of Practice for Content Regulation. The Code of Practice covers matters relating to program content that are of concern to the community, such as local content, news, current affairs, programs for children, advertising, including political advertisements, and the responsibilities associated with broadcasting in the Bahamas. The code also covers aspects such as access services for the hearing and visually impaired, and the procedure for lodging a complaint about anything broadcast by this station. The code is available on the IRCA website at www.ircabahamas.bs. To receive a copy of the code by mail or in person, you may telephone IRCA at 242-393-0234. Family Island dialing is toll-free at 1-242-300-8722. Or you may send a request by email to info@ircabahamas.bs.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Smaller numbers at this year's Labor Day parade. The Minister of Finance clarifying the status of the 52-week program. And the 2018 hurricane season is officially underway.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening. I'm Natalia Hall. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news is Labor Day and the 2018 Sir Randall Fox Labor Day Parade March in Grand Bahama taking a different route this year. And while the level of participation was much smaller this year, those who took part say the cause remains the same. We have team coverage tonight, beginning with our Kimberly Mullings.
The 2018 Sir Randall Fox Labor Day March seeing less participants than normal this year. The march began at the International Bazaar after 8 a.m. and leading the way were local parliamentarians. Minister of State for Grand Bahama, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson says Labor Day is important for the Bahamas and the government representatives thought it was necessary to participate.
It is a day really when we can be unified. It's a day when the country really should come together in support of workers. We want to make sure that, particularly in Grand Bahama, that we increase the employment, that we continue to protect their rights, that we continue to fight for them. And so all of the members of parliament are here today. We are here as a government that wants to support them. We are here as a government that wants to stand on the side of them and to say that we will do all that we can to advance the cause of labor in this country.
Chairman of the opposition and leader of opposition business in the Senate, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, has been participating in the Labor Day March on Grand Bahama for years. He says Nassau shouldn't always be the focus.
Things are too Nassau-centric, so I decided about 20 years ago that I would do this. And it's worked out quite well. I think people appreciate seeing people who are their leaders at the center join them in the islands. And of course, it's a wonderful salute to working people. PLPs and FNMs, they're all workers, and that we unite on. I mean, obviously we have differences in policy approaches and all the rest of it. But today is a day to celebrate the working man. We all fought for this.
Local government representatives took part in the march, the Bahamas Union of Teachers, as well as members of the Bahamas Communications Public Officers Union. Officer of the Bahamas Financial Services Union, Anita Sweeting, says they enjoy being a part of the march.
Always a pleasure for the members of the Bahamas Financial Services Union, which represents members of CIBC First Caribbean International Bank. And we're always out to celebrate labor, as we are proud to be Bahamians with the right to work anywhere in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Kirk Russell, Bahamas Hotel Management Association Vice President, says this year's march was significant to them despite the myriad of challenges they face.
Both in Grand Bahama and in Nassau, both Congresses are marching together in solidarity. We intend to move forward collectively, dealing with all national labor issues in this country.
GB Taxi Union second Vice President Geraldine Dean says she'd hoped for their numbers to be better, but they were pleased to attend anyway.
We saw it fit to come out in full force. It could have been a lot more people, but what has happened is it's been so slow in our area. A lot of people had to work today. So after the work is finished, then they'll come over. But we still have our fights and we still have our struggles. We're moving, moving a little bit of strides, but it's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
The Bahamas Nurses Union showed up and showed out with a large contingent. Shop steward Ashnell Mizik says they had to be there.
We understand that the government hands are tied with a lot of the resources that we don't have readily available to the RAND, but we're standing for our patients, we're standing for ourselves, and we're making sure that everybody can see that we are here. We are here for everyone, those that are disabled, those that couldn't make it out today.
The 2018 Sir Randall Fox Labor Day March in Grand Bahama was in honor of former president of the Grand Bahama Taxi Union, James Kemp. Those participating in this year's march gathered at the Anita Doherty Community Park for a rally. Our Talia Hall has the details.
Scores of persons filled the Anita Doherty Park on Friday morning to be a part of the annual Labor Day rally. Now, this year's honoree, James Kemp, says he's pleased to be honored, and going forward, he would like to see persons become more unified in the labor movement.
It's very important now that we step forward. Let's put our pettiness aside. Let's stop beating on our former leaders. Pick them. These are the guys. When we go in there, we play FNM, PLP. But who's hurting? The people. You need to come together, support our organization, and I must apologize for that also. I'll be back involved with the unions. I'll be here giving my 110%.
Taxi Union President David Jones says He is proposing that the old airport road be renamed.
Port Authority, we're going to petition our government officials. We want to name that road Kemp Boulevard. James Kemp Boulevard.
Laborers were also given an opportunity to speak to the crowd to voice some of their concerns.
We must have a dialogue, an honest conversation about the way forward in this country. We got to put our politics aside if we're going to preserve what our forefathers have fought for.
I would like to see hotels and pretty much employment on the island increase, because too many of our good people are home struggling and things are so tough for them, for their families and stuff like that.
We have many challenges in the Grand Bahama area, things that people refuse to talk about, things that people refuse to address, and we need to come together as one, not as a political people, but as a people with heart to address these issues and to get them worked out. Grand Bahama has much needs, different than Nassau.
Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquas addressed a number of issues on the state of Grand Bahama's economy, but he says Labor Day is all about solidarity and unity, which is of great importance in order for the country to progress.
As it says, a house divided cannot stand. You see, this day, it's not about politics. This is about the workers. This is about the progress of this country. And so as I look and I see the colors, in my mind, in my heart, I'm disappointed. You see, our Prime Minister told those of us on our side, we don't want no colors today. Because this is not about us and it's not about politics. This is about the country. This is about those people who work and sacrifice for the future of this country.
The rally ended with a prayer for persons who were involved in the Labor Day tragedy in the nation's capital. Scores of workers in the government's 52-week program were reportedly notified yesterday that their services are no longer needed. Some workers on Grand Bahama expressed disappointment, saying that they will now have to join the unemployment line. Now, the Minister of Finance addressed this issue during the Labor Day rally today. Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquas explaining that the program was intended to be a skills training initiative and not a permanent employment program. He says the government is now making some alterations to the program.
There will still be a component where we have individuals employed in the system for the 52 weeks or hopefully permanent if they, at this stage, based upon the assessments that they've received over the last year or however long they've been working there, that they are capable, they are interested, and they are productive. We will rehire all of them. For those who do not fit into that category, we are developing a skills training program. We are making Bahamas Technical Vocational Institute, BTVI, free.
Now, the DPM says persons can attend BTVI and choose any field of their choice.
And we're going to compensate you. We're going to pay you to go to school. You see, the problem with the 52-week program is that there was no off-ramp. And so people get to the end of 52 weeks, and they have nowhere to go. They haven't learned anything, and they just, I wanted to say beg, but that's a bad word. But they have to be beholden to somebody to hopefully rehire them. The indignity of that. They can't go to the bank, they can't do anything. There's no off-ramp for them. And so through this training program, through this transition, and putting, I want to say it's about $2 million we're putting towards this. This training program will give individuals an off-ramp so that they will have skills and certified skills that they can move now into the private sector and demand a job because they are qualified, or they can be entrepreneurs themselves.
Today is June 1st, and that means it's the beginning of the hurricane season. This season got off to an early start last weekend with subtropical storm Alberto, and predictions for 2018 suggest a near to above average season. This season, NOAA forecasters predict a 70% likelihood of 10 to 16 named storms, of which 5 to 9 could become hurricanes, including 1 to 4 major hurricanes. Some of the names for this year's storms are Beryl, Chris, Debbie, Ernesto, Florence, and Gordon. On this first day of the 2018 hurricane season, many are still reeling from the effects of previous storms. Tonight, a local church is grateful for an international group who traveled to the island to offer assistance. Shashina Wolf-Farquharson reports.
Members of the Young People and Children's Division of the AME from different parts of the United States working hard to renovate the Cummings Temple Church. The church sustained some $300,000 in damage during the recent hurricanes, and with the 2018 season upon us, they were in dire need of assistance. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Minister Pintard, says he is in awe of the selfless act by the youngsters who traveled to Grand Bahama to assist the local church.
And so it's wonderful that they're coming down to work with a sister church in helping to rehabilitate this facility. They are from throughout the state of Florida, and they are various occupations, and all of them highly motivated in terms of making a difference. So I'm encouraged.
Representative from the Ministry of Tourism's Religious Tourism Department, Debbie Heiler, says that they were pleased to welcome the 57 members from the Cummings Temple Sister Church.
The convention last year that brought persons from throughout the United States, they were supposed to have some 600 persons come to Grand Bahama, and that was canceled because of the damages to the church. So as a result, some of the persons that were here, some of the members, decided that they will bring some of their congregation from the United States, Florida in particular, to come back and assist with this church. And today it's a grand day for Cummings Temple.
Pastor of the church, Hudson Williams, as well as president of the youth group, Jameson Moore, both believe that the visit was a blessing.
2016 Hurricane Matthew, and we got major damage. Over 300,000, repairs need to be done. So this group coming over helps us to push the work further and help us in the restoration process. So I'm very grateful and thankful for the YPD president, directors, for choosing to come to Cummings Temple this year.
Really pricked our hearts to say, okay, well, there's so much going on in the world, but we can make a bigger difference and greater impact here in Grand Bahama. So we went back home, talked to the conference directors, and spoke with our Episcopal leadership, Bishop and Mrs. Richardson, and they gave us permission to come back and make a difference.
Thanks, Shashina. Now switching gears, police in Abaco taking a 24-year-old man of the mud into custody for possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition. Reports are that shortly before 2 this morning, officers went to an area on Charles Sawyer Highway where they conducted a search of a silver Honda Fit vehicle and discovered a black and silver 9mm pistol with a clip containing 10 live rounds of ammunition. Now another male is being sought in connection with this matter, and investigations are continuing. Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Dolly Madison, Freeport's original home center.
Musicians, churches, nightclubs, Radio Shack is now stocked with heavy-duty power amps, powered speakers, subwoofers, cordless and wired microphones, lavaliers, guitar strings, drumsticks, skins and accessories, guitar and bass amps, DI boxes, crossovers, line conditioners, percussion instruments, clarinet and saxophone reeds, PA systems, mixers, routers, hard drives, sound cards, tablets, MacBook Pro power cords and adapters, and so much more at the new Radio Shack at Dolly Madison Home Center.
Come on down. This portion of the news is brought to you by Mo Davis Beauty Zone. Be beautiful, be you. Located at number 1 Britannia Mini Mall, Caravelle Beach.
Everybody, are you on TV? Look, are you on TV? Mom, guess what it is? That's me. Bartender, do you see me? Are you on television? I gotta tell my girlfriend are you on television.
Hello?
Babe, turn your television to ZNS. Quick, are you on television?
I don't have a TV in there.
We have Wi-Fi though.
We have Wi-Fi.
That's fine. They upgrade now. You can watch it live from your phone. You just have to download the app.
All right, hold on.
Go to the App Store, type in ZNS, download the app, and you'll be able to watch ZNS straight from your phone. Hurry up before it's over good.
Get your news and more anytime, anywhere with the new ZNS app. Stay connected from around the globe with our live stream news updates, all in the palm of your hand. You can also listen to the ZNS Radio Network for your favorite music. Go into your Apple or Google Play Store and download the ZNS app today.
Miss I's a star now, I still gotta pay?
Covering the Northern Bahamas, you're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Changes are coming soon to a popular area on Grand Bahama. Tonight, the executive director of the Grand Bahama Port Authority shares how they plan to enhance this community. Shashina Roll-Farquharson has the story.
Executive of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Rupert Hayward, says that there are multiple plans on the table for the Freeport area. While he says that they cannot discuss all the details, he shares a major initiative to revitalize the Pioneers Way area.
Take Pioneers Way from Coral Road to Eastmore Drive as a test case because we think it needs a lot of work. And we have spoken to the MP for Pine Ridge, Frederick McAlpine, who was extremely enthused by the plans that we had for engaging the community. And we plan on working with him, having a town hall meeting with the residents so we can hear their concerns to say, how can we help you clean up your community? Because it is about engaging the people who we work with, the people who we live next door, to make sure that we can not only clean it up, but we can keep it tidy afterwards.
He says that they are also looking at incentive programs to encourage residents to beautify their community.
Where we can create environmental ambassadors on that street. Maybe we can have rewards for people who have kept their house and their yard in a particularly good way as well. And we are going to ask the business community, the stakeholders in the community, to work with us either through the provision of materials for people in that community. Maybe Alive wants to give a SIM card for the people who do a particularly good job. The volunteers will be out there. And if we can create a successful model with Pioneers Way, we'd like to roll that out to other parts of the community.
Hayward adds that there are also plans underway to improve Queens Highway.
We recognize it's fallen into particularly bad disrepair over the last few years. It is a main tourist arterial route. The buses come from the harbour down that road as well. But it's a big part of our community. We need it to be looking in better shape. Now, Troy McIntosh has put a budget together to put new curbs, upgrade the curbs on that street, put new landscaping in, put pullovers or lay-bys in place so that the road and the through flow of traffic works better as well. And then we're going to go out and we're going to engage the community, the business owners, to say, how can we help you fix up your yard? How can we help you with the trash there? How can we solve some of the unsightly things that are there?
He says some government officials have also committed to assisting in this venture as well.
In other news, medical practitioners getting an opportunity to learn more about their specialty in areas of medicine. Each week, medical education sessions are held in the foyer of the hospital. During a recent session, attention was directed to gynecology and oncology. The special guest, Dr. Troy Gatcliffe, a gynecologist and oncologist from the Miami Cancer Institute of the Baptist Health Hospital out of Miami. Medical Chief of Staff Dr. Paul Ward says the sessions are an essential part of professional development.
I've known Troy for many years and we're pleased to have him here. As you are aware, continuing medical education is a very important aspect of our professional career in medicine, and physicians are lifelong students. We have to maintain educational credits to satisfy the Bahamas Medical Council for our licensure. So this is an opportunity for all the physicians to participate in this educational initiative.
Dr. Gatcliffe also brought local physicians up to date on recent advances in the treatment for ovarian cancer.
Gynecologic oncologist, it's one of the cancers that I deal with frequently. It's a relatively rare cancer in the world of cancer on the whole, but it's a pretty significant gynecologic cancer killer because very often it's diagnosed late. It's the most commonly, it is most commonly diagnosed at stage 3. So I was discussing with the physicians this morning in their CME lecture important recent advances in the sequencing of treatment in terms of surgery and chemotherapy and when to do those, and then also in a new class of drugs that is now available and been FDA approved in the United States within the last few years, some as recently as this year, a class of drugs called PARP inhibitors.
President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Belinda Wilton, addressing the idea of corporal punishment being taken out of the public schools. While on a recent trip to Grand Bahama, the BUT leader noted that the matter has not been discussed with union officials, and as it stands, the teachers union supports corporal punishment in schools.
If there's going to be a change or a move toward removing corporal punishment, then there has to be consultation with the union. The policy needs to be made clear to us as to how we move forward. There has to be constructive measures of discipline that you will use to replace corporal punishment. So to me, that's a topic for a whole discussion.
Wilton recalled a UNESCO policy implemented in 2001 in which the Bahamas government agreed to take corporal punishment out of the hands of teachers and place it in the hands of principals and persons designated by principals. She says corporal punishment, if not carried out in an abusive manner, is not a bad form of discipline, as many believe it is.
I know that corporal punishment, the mere definition of it is a deliberate act to cause pain. But when you think about a preschooler or a child in a lower primary school, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, even parents at home, if they say to their child, don't touch that, and they give them a little spanking is fine. Now when you talk about abuse, well, that's a different topic for another day. But corporal punishment works, and I could tell you I got a lot of it. So it works, although there are other methods of discipline.
A local organization getting an opportunity to perform in Toronto, Canada next month. The Fine Arts Institute School of Gifts and Talents Community Choir will take 30 young students to Canada for a gala fusion, where the Bahamas' independence will be celebrated. Board member Bonnie Baston says while in Canada, the group will be able to display their talent on an international level while promoting the Bahamas, and she's asking for the public support.
We really need support and help, as it is costing each student about $1,000 per person to go over there. And we're just making a general plea to the public, no matter how small it is, if you can just come out and support some of the events we're going to be having, a stakeout. We're going to be having a $1 day on the corner, and we will be out in front of various business places singing and performing with a bucket for people to just, give a little donation. And this is such a great, awesome opportunity for these young students. As you know, performing arts in the Bahamas, in my opinion, is not being pushed to the level that it should be pushed.
Board member Sanadia Smith says the students will have a chance to be exposed to another culture.
I think this is also a great opportunity for them, and also we'll be able to visit some colleges and some schools where they can learn more about them and obtain scholarships that way abroad.
Now, the choir is set to travel to Canada on July 18th through the 23rd. If you would like to assist them, you can contact telephone numbers 805-9991, 438-9272, or faibahamas@gmail.com. Don't go away. A look at sports is next, right after this break.
More Makeup by Megan Coakley. When you want to look like a star. Phone 443-7979.
Officer Bo! Officer Bo! You would not believe what I just saw.
What's up, Chris?
As I was doing my community service, I saw this truck going down this road. You would not believe the stuff he was throwing out. He was throwing out tires, refrigerators, TVs, even mattresses.
Calm down, Chris, calm down. Did the truck leave the area yet?
No, it was a big man in a reddish colored truck, and he's still there. I just ran out to the main road to call somebody because I did not want to arrest him by myself. Yeah, that's good for your nasty self. You know who you are. Stop like your nastiness. So do your part to keep Grandmama clean, and don't let this be you.
Welcome back. Topping Sports, a former Olympian getting a special honor, and the recognition is coming from his very own community. Our Kimberly Mullings picks up the story.
This has made a name for himself and the country as an Olympian back in the 70s, but says he's proud to know that he's recently been honored during the opening of the YMTA's Community Center in Hunters. Various sections of the park were unveiled, and the basketball court was named in honor of Fletcher Lewis Jr., a native of Hunters who was able to advance to the finals in the men's long jump at the 1976 Olympics. He says most times a man is never a hero in his hometown.
Grew up in Hunters. I went to school in Hunters, except when I went to the Nassau, the St. Augustine's. And I played basketball a lot, even though a lot of people know me for track and field. And for them to name a basketball court after me in my hometown, it's tremendous.
He says from an early age, he recognized his talent.
Okay, well, basketball. The first time I picked up a basketball was when I went to St. Augustine's in Nassau. And the next year I was on the school team. I actually went to college to play basketball on a scholarship, and I was the conference player of the year and the MVP of my team. So I could have gone to a number of schools to play basketball, but I chose track and field because my goal was to go to the Olympics, which I did, and I became the first Bahamian to compete in the finals of a field event.
Which year was that?
1976 in Montreal, Canada.
Lewis is grateful that the country has given him his roses while he is still alive.
Let me tell you something. I've been smelling roses now I almost have a garden in my home. I've been smelling roses since November when I was elected into the Bahamas National Sports Hall of Fame. And then they had a track meet in my honor in February. And here we are again today, the crowning achievement of all the things that has happened to me in my life as far as my athletic endeavors are concerned. This is way up there above everything else because this is my hometown.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Total Sports.
Thanks, Kim, and that's a look at your sports for this Friday.
When you need a warm, filling meal, head to KFC for a hot, juicy, flaky chicken pot pie. Individual sized, freshly baked, chunky chicken pot pie loaded with tender pieces of delicious KFC chicken, green peas, hearty carrots, potatoes, and a thick and savory home-style sauce. Covered with a golden crust. Chicken pot pie. Available at all KFC restaurants in Freeport.
I'm Megan Shepard, a reporter here at the ZNS Northern Service. Did you know that ZNS is right at your fingertips when you download the new ZNS app? Missed something in our newscast? That's okay. Simply pull up the app, swipe, and you'll find all of our news headlines and highlights. So what are you waiting for? Download the new ZNS app today.
Influenza or the flu can be serious, causing hospitalization and sometimes death. One of the best ways to prevent acquiring the flu is to get your annual flu shot. Flu shots are available free of charge at all community clinics. The following high-risk persons are encouraged to get their annual flu shots: children 6 months and older, pregnant women, adults over the age of 50, persons with asthma, diabetes, hypertension, or a weakened immune system resulting from cancer and/or HIV, persons in nursing homes, and healthcare providers. Additional information regarding the flu shot can be provided by your nearest community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
And that's going to do it here for us in the North on this Labor Day. I'm Natalia Hall. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
A lady was underneath the truck, and I saw one of my managers on the ground and several others along the street.
That could have been avoided this morning. What happened out there? What are we going to tell those young children? What happened to their parent?
Get rid of all of these vehicles, put this thing back the way it was, and we'll have a safe Labor Day.
Lord, we ask you to fix it right now in the name of Jesus.
Please desist from sending these images over social media.
The special edition of the Bahamas Tonight starts right now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Labor Day 2018 marred by a national tragedy. Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis. What was supposed to be a day of celebration for workers around the country has turned into mourning. Our news team has been covering this story since it broke this morning, and our cameras were rolling first. We begin our team coverage tonight with this report from Opal Roach.
As thousands participated in Friday's Labor Day parade, tragedy struck when a truck lost control and scores were injured.
And apart from multiple persons with injuries, 4 persons lost their lives. It all took place after 10 on Friday morning, just next to Zion Baptist Church on East and Shirley Streets. We talked to several eyewitnesses who say that a number of Bahamas Financial Services Union members were involved.
By the time I heard when the truck collided with a car in the back of the Sam Campbell building on Shirley Street, I noticed a lot of my fellow unionists who were either on the ground after being ran over, and the ones in the truck, some of them came through the back windshield. A lady was underneath the truck, and I saw one of my managers on the ground and several others along the street.
It was serious injuries. Some had head injuries, feet was like tear apart. It just was terrible.
This truck just lost control and ran over persons. Some people dead. Serious injuries.
This is a sad day on this wonderful day that we call Labor Day.
Now, fortunately, members of the Doctors and Nurses Union were on the parade, and they stepped right in to render assistance.
This is what the nurses are prepared for in disasters. None of the nurses got injured, but BPCOU and some old folks who were in the car got injured. And we asked the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to come together and pray for this nation. It's a sad day. We're working and fighting for the workers. An accident occurred, and the nurses and the doctors are on board dealing with the trauma.
Speaking to the tragedy and sympathizing with those victims, some onlookers say that the parade has lost its tradition.
We just sat here a few minutes ago during the parade and saying, why is all these vehicles here on this parade? In the Labor Day parade always call for the workers to be out here marching, not everybody riding around in vehicles.
They need to get rid of all of these vehicles, put this thing back the way it was, and we'll have a safe Labor Day.
And with the tragedy right next door to the church, members of the Nurses Union formed a prayer chain praying for those accident victims.
Lord, we ask you to fix it right now in the name of Jesus.
I'm Opal Roach, ZNS Network News.
Thanks a lot, Opal. Princess Margaret Hospital officials activated a mass casualty mode with doctors, nurses, and other support staff springing into action to assist affected persons impacted by the runaway truck on the parade. In fact, a number of nurses taking part in the parade were among the first responders on the scene. Jiminy DeSwain was a part of the press conference earlier today, where officials provided an update on those affected.
I can confirm that 21 patients were treated at the Accident and Emergency Department. 3 patients went to the doctor's hospital and were treated there. And we can confirm that 2 patients were brought in dead directly to the morgue at Princess Margaret Hospital. We have a total of 4 confirmed dead from the incident. And the other patients in A&E be treated now. Some are still actively being stitched, getting x-rays, getting CAT scans. 2 have injuries that are serious enough that they have to be admitted to hospital.
Hospital officials say that other victims were treated and later discharged. Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands made it clear that the hospital was not in a state of panic, but instead stuck to its protocols.
There was never, ever a situation where things were not very much under control. From the time of the incident, doctors, nurses responded, even in their grief, to care for the victims. We have some challenges because a number of the nurses that were on the parade would have witnessed and participated in the resuscitation and management of the victims. And so they are traumatized.
The health minister admitted that services may be impacted Friday night. However, he says those nurses will be provided with the counseling they need. Labor Minister Senator the Honorable Leon Folks expressed sentiments on behalf of the Prime Minister, who is off island.
To say that the nation is in mourning and that we feel the pain of every Bahamian. This is a tragedy. To my knowledge, something like this has never happened before.
Minister Folks also became a bit emotional as he recounted where he was positioned on the parade when he learned of the tragedy.
Both Bernard, Obi, and I, we were marching around with British Colonial Hotel. And Superintendent, I think Rule, came and informed us about what happened. And we were just shocked. We didn't know what to say. We cut off all the music on the parade and instructed them to play spiritual music, which they did. We canceled the rally at the fish fry at Awaki.
President of the National Trade Union Congress of the Bahamas, Bernard Evans, explains that the Financial Services Union was directly impacted by the accident, but he asked Bahamians to pray for the driver of the truck involved.
And lastly, for the young man, the driver, let us all see. I know where he's at. Can't be in a good place for him as well. And let us just come together and pray.
Next Labor Day, we have to put some stringent rules in place with respect to these vehicles to make sure that they are fit to be on the parade. We will work with the commissioner.
Jiminy DeSwain joins us live from the Princess Margaret Hospital tonight with an update on their role in this tragedy. Good evening, Jiminita.
Good evening, LaDawn, and good evening, Bahamas. We're here live outside of the critical care block at the Princess Margaret Hospital. And as you can see from a few minutes ago, that was the situation earlier today. Now joining me live is the Medical Chief of Staff, Dr. Caroline Burnett Garraway, who will provide us with an update on the latest in terms of the care of those patients here at the hospital.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Since I spoke to you last, we've had 8 more patients come into the Accident and Emergency Department. Some of them who are actually nurses that were on the parade and were traumatized with minor injuries. They've all been discharged except for 1 patient who's still being assessed. Of the 3 that were more critical, 1 patient went to the operating theater and she's now stable and on the ward, and the other 2 are resting comfortably. So we have stepped down and things are back to normal in the Accident and Emergency Department and the hospital.
Well, thank you very much. That is, of course, the medical chief of staff here at the hospital, Dr. Caroline Burnett Garway. But also joining us live here outside of the critical care block is, of course, the hospital administrator, Ms. Mary Walker. Good evening, Ms. Walker. Can you update us on the containment and management of the tragedy here at this hour?
Yes, further to what we would have said earlier, the teams all reacted appropriately to the protocols that we have established for incidents such as this. And that's from the EMS personnel, Princess Margaret Hospital staff with the doctors and nurses in the emergency room, the surgical teams, and our support staff in the lab, imaging, and also autopsy services. So everyone would have done as they should have done in an incident like this. And I must say that we are in a position where we can say we thank them for all of they had done today. They went above and beyond in a lot of instances to make sure that we were able to respond appropriately today as we are trained to do.
Now, can you speak to the staff numbers, whether or not that issue has been addressed? As we heard earlier from the health minister, he indicated that there would need to be some adjustments based on the fact that some of those nurses were, of course, on the parade earlier today.
When we came to that realization, we immediately started to reach out to those who were possibly off. And we have covered those shifts for the night and into tomorrow that could have been impacted by some of those nurses who just made themselves available and acted promptly. So yes, we are in a position where no care will be impacted. We've got those covered with persons who could come in.
And finally, can you also speak to us about any services that have been implemented or extended as a result of managing this tragedy here?
Yes, we have extended the operating hours of the blood bank this afternoon. They will be open until shortly after 7:30 to take all those persons who can possibly donate blood at this time. And tomorrow the blood bank will be open again for extended hours at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we will be in a position to take blood from persons willing to come and donate and help us to continue to serve our persons here who come for care. And again, all of our services that are normally open during this time, which are all our diagnostic services, shall continue as normal.
Thank you very much, Ms. Walker. That is, of course, the hospital administrator, Ms. Mary Walker, here at PMH. Back to you, LaDawn.
Thanks a lot, Jimenita. The investigation by the Traffic Division of the Royal Bahamas Police Force is paramount to finding out the details of this tragedy. Officer in charge of operational support, Assistant Commissioner of Police Ken Strawn, confirmed the initial details of the tragedy at a press conference at the Princess Margaret Hospital earlier this afternoon. Strawn confirmed that the driver of the vehicle is currently assisting police with their investigation.
What prompted the driver to come out of the vehicle, and when he came out of the vehicle, all of those things form a part of the investigations. The vehicle continued without a driver, hence descended the hill, having collided with its first victim and those spectators and participants of the parade that were along East Street during that time. Those questions that you asked, the police are seeking to find out what prompted it and what caused the incident. And certainly, as I indicated to you, it descended the hill. I'm unable to say whether or not it was in park, whether there was a mechanical impediment that caused that to happen. All of those things are part of the investigation. And we invite anyone who witnessed this ordeal or who may have been there during the time of this incident, please come forward so that we can get the relevant information to advance our investigation. I wish also to take this time to ask persons out there who have taken images of these persons while at that scene and of the incident in itself, please desist from sending these images over social media.
ACP Strawn also offered this advice to motorists, particularly those participating in parades.
It is expected that an individual who is in charge of the vehicle stay in charge of that vehicle. A parade of that nature is normally stop-go, not more than 5 miles per hour. Constantly on these parades, you would find police officers asking persons who are on the vehicles to be properly seated within the cavity of the vehicles. Yes, there are large trucks on the vehicle where persons are standing, but we don't want to see persons hanging off of the side of the vehicle. One of the things that concerns me with a number of the parades, and this does not apply to this event, is persons having place themselves on the edge of the vehicles with their feet hanging over. Imagine that tire grabbing a hold of your feet. We have had incidents where persons have lost their lives, not on the parade, under those circumstances.
Many families were impacted by today's tragedy. Our Crystal Darling has her story.
An emotional day for family members who lost loved ones in that tragedy that rocked the Labor Day parade. Our news team spent much of the day positioned at the Princess Margaret Hospital. For much of the morning and afternoon, family members awaited word on the condition of loved ones injured. Many reluctant to speak. During a press conference at the hospital, officials called for the country to pray.
I ask the public to pray. Let us all join together and pray for God's grace in this time of tragedy.
Let us just come together and pray, as the minister alluded to. And on behalf of the officers and members of the entire National Congress of Trade Unions, the Financial Services Union, which was the union that was mostly impacted by this tragedy, that we express our condolences and our prayers are with you and your family.
Meantime, the scenery at the morgue quickly turned into an atmosphere of mourning and prayers. Scores of persons, in addition to police officers, assembled on the outside. The Minister of Health, the Labor Minister, and President of the Bahamas Christian Council joined those at the morgue in support of family members who were called to make the difficult process of an official identification. Bishop Fernando prayed for the family members as they huddled in support of the grieving family members. I'm Crystal Darling, reporting from the Princess Margaret Hospital, ZNS Network News.
President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Bishop Delton Fernando, visited the accident and emergency section of the Princess Margaret Hospital and the morgue today to provide spiritual counseling to those affected. And as expected, the mood was very somber.
The tragedy left a lot of people traumatized. Had an opportunity to go to accident and emergency, to talk to families, to hear stories about people who believe that bystanders were heroes, pulling their children, strangers, pulling their children out of the way of the truck so that they could not be damaged or hurt or even killed in this event. And so it saw the worst of the Bahamas in that people died, saw the best of Bahamians in that we all came together and helped. We were able to pray in accident emergency. We went and received an update from the Minister of Health and the Minister folks about how critical and what stages people were at. We then joined the families by the morgue and prayed, as you would have seen in some of your footage, and spent time just comforting them.
Meanwhile, Bishop Fernando says a national day of prayer for the victims and their families will be held pending the approval of family members. He says that should take place sometime next week.
A service of healing has been requested. We will reach out to the leaders of the unions with a view that we want to go out with them and meet with the family, and then we will get back to the nation on that day. The government is in total agreement, the leader of the opposition is in total agreement, and then we begin the planning process, and then we begin to grieve with this family and allow them to grieve, not to be insensitive. We want to reach out to the families, and before they have their funerals, have this time where the nation can grieve with them and just show them that we love them.
Prime Minister Dr. The Honorable Hubert Minnis responding to today's national tragedy. He said today's national holiday, marking the celebration of Bahamian workers, took a tragic turn, leaving 4 people dead and a significant number injured during the Labor Day March. The Prime Minister noted that march participants, first responders, onlookers, and the professional teams at the Princess Margaret Hospital worked with great compassion and urgency to care for the dead and injured. The Prime Minister commends all those who came to the aid of those affected by this tragedy. He further stated that government ministers and other officials will continue to offer immediate support and ongoing assistance. The Prime Minister extended condolences to the families, colleagues, and friends of those who lost their lives today on behalf of the government, his family, and the people of the Bahamas as prayers remain with the deceased and those affected. The Prime Minister further indicated that he was previously scheduled to visit Eleuthera and Long Island over the holiday weekend, but will return to New Providence tomorrow and visit the families of those who lost loved ones and the injured. The Prime Minister will also deliver a national address. The Free National Movement also issuing a statement on the Labor Day tragedy. Free National Movement Chairman Carl Culmer said in a release that on behalf of the party's leadership, party executives, officers, and all of the FNMs, the party expresses its heartfelt condolences to the families of the victims of that accident that happened during the 2018 Labor Day parade. He said the party is deeply shocked and saddened by this tragedy and extends prayer, love to the family of the victims. A day of complete and utter sadness is how opposition Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Brave Davis describes the tragedy that marred the annual Labor Day parade. Davis was at the Princess Margaret Hospital earlier today, where he told us that he had a chance to speak to a number of persons affected by the tragedy.
An amazing story. I heard that perhaps one of the victims that may have passed, may have given her life to save a baby, a child. As I was walking through A&E and I spoke to one of the ladies, she was pointing out her son or nephew and said that, but for that lady, her child may have been injured as well. And so out of that sadness comes that his heroic story. And what do we say? I mean, we just have to pray and extend our sympathies. I think at this time, as we all mourn, it is good that we could share in the grief of all, because sharing of grief helps to lift the burden of grief.
Coming up, we have highlights from the 2018 Labor Day Parade. Stay tuned to this special edition of The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by the new Shell and Leaded, designed for extra miles.
This is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. This is Commonwealth Bank. And no matter how, no matter where, no matter what, Commonwealth Bank is here for you. Commonwealth Bank, everything we do it for you.
Every day at KFC, our cooks begin with the freshest pieces of chicken, hand breading and seasoning before cooking to golden perfection, making chicken that's hot, fresh, and ready for you to grab and head to your favorite spot for a meal with friends and family. The secret to preparing the world's juiciest, tastiest chicken, bundled with a variety of delicious sides, is real cooks who love what they do. Taste the KFC difference. Fresh prepared, in-store daily. KFC Nassau, it's finger-licking good.
We start with a yes, but when life takes unexpected turns, you can still say yes to more. The Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard credit card gives you points with every purchase that you can use to travel anywhere. Plus, With 20,000 Scotia points, you can say yes to destinations. With Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard credit card, it's easier to say yes to everything. Apply today.
There are stamps for mailing, even rubber and ink stamps, but there's only one stamp that saves you money, and you only get them at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs 15-ounce can, $1.09. Whole chicken wings, $1.59 per pound. Rainbow corned beef, 12-ounce can, $1.89. Libby whole kernel corn or sliced beets, 15-ounce size, 99 cents. Sweet peaches, $1.99 per pound. Carolina Pride hams, 10-ounce size, $2.99. Quality stamps only at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Free, reliable, anytime, anywhere, and instant. That's the benefits of using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Pay bills, check account balances, transfer funds, and more. Enjoy the freedom of banking on your own terms. Why wait in line? Save time. Do your banking using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean to find out more.
The Amri Company has been around many years. We are one of the oldest computer company here on the island. We have a wide range of other products, such as CCTV cameras, Promethean educational boards, ATMs and safes, and also we carry a wide variety of software products.
So this Canon is wireless color printer is valued at $99, but all of our live customers that come in and show us the app and they're part of the loyalty program will get a 20% discount. The Amri Company is an innovative leader in business and technology solutions, so we thought the partnership would be natural with Alive since they follow a similar mission.
This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Although marred by tragedy, the 2018 Surrando Fox Labor Day Parade was historic in more ways than one. It was held under the theme, "An injury to one is an injury to all." Cleopatra Murphy spoke with union officials before the tragedy.
Thousands of workers took to the streets of the capital Friday morning for the Surrando Fox Labor Day Parade in what President of the National Congress of Trade Unions Bahamas Bernard Evans describes as a record number parade. This comes as for the second consecutive year, the country's two umbrella unions, the National Congress of Trade Unions Bahamas and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Unions Congress, marched together after holding separate parades for more than 2 decades. Evans says the parade comes at a critical time when workers' rights are under attack, but the increase of value-added tax to 12% announced in the budget communication was also on his mind.
Given what just happened this week about the VAT increase, throughout all of our contract negotiations, employees were telling us to hold off almost on a freeze in terms of wage increases, and then to have this levied on us without any proper dialogue or any warning. All right, and so immediately after the march next week, we will come together again to go over while the debate is going on, the pros and cons of it, and make an official statement on the VAT situation.
President of the CBTUC, Obi Ferguson, says the joining of the two umbrella unions is significant.
You know, unity obviously is strength. And this is a demonstration here today of our commitment. And as we move forward, you will see a united labor movement on all issues affecting the workers of this country.
Minister of Labor Senator the Honorable Dion Folks marched beside the two union leaders and applauded them and employers for what he says has been a good year for industrial relations.
There are a lot of problems that we have almost every day that do not get on TV, and that is because we have very mature leadership, both on the employer side and also on the union side. So, happy Labor Day, everybody.
From the Nurses Union to the Bahamas Communications and Public Officers Union, the country's unionized workforce had a strong turnout. President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Belinda Wilson, says the show of solidarity is vital.
Once there are workers and employers, you will need unions. Once there are employees whose rights are being taken advantage of, once there's victimization, discrimination, you will always need unions to represent.
Other unions like the Bahamas Financial Services Union, the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, and the Airport Airline and Allied Workers Union also participated in Friday's Labor Day parade. The consensus of union leaders is that representation by unions is vital.
The workers in the world came a long way. They used to be taken advantage of. The owners paid them when they wanted to pay them. They didn't have no set getting off time. When the owners is ready, let them go. So, you know, we've come a long way to getting to this point. We're calling on all workers in the country to just come out and celebrate being a worker, because we recognize that in this day and time, workers are under attack. And we need to be able to stand up for all workers.
We are here to work with the employers as well as the employees to bring that unity so that all parties benefit.
Other union leaders also shared their hopes for future labor relations.
Not to get too political, but again, it's all about the workers and labor, the movement for people, because again, that's how we develop from the ground up.
We have to really get together and try to work in a cohesive situation with management so we can all achieve the common goal.
I just hope that industrial goodwill prevails throughout the country, and the unions are putting a hand forward with the government to try to create that type of atmosphere.
As the celebration of workers continued in the streets, union leaders say they hope to see the unity of the day echoed by trade unions for years to come as they continue the fight for workers' rights. Cleopatra Murphy, SAT&S Network News.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is Get Me Ride. With our app, you easily sign up to ride and ride whenever you want. All of our drivers are certified taxi drivers. Add funds to your wallet and rate your drivers. Want to be a driver? Download Get Me Ride, the #1 transportation and taxi provider. Visit getmeride.org.
Life happens, and when it does, FG Insurance Agents and Brokers is here. We help you protect the assets you've worked hard to attain. We offer home, auto, marine, commercial, and liability insurance. Don't hesitate to protect what matters with FG Insurance Agents and Brokers. Visit us and speak to your agent today, or call us at 396-1490 in Nassau or 688-1500 in Freeport.
If you own a portfolio of securities within a brokerage account, like stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, you can access a hassle-free loan, known as a margin loan, based on the value of that portfolio. Your investment portfolio is essentially used as collateral for a cash loan. And the benefits are numerous. Simple and straightforward application, quick turnaround, a more competitive interest rate, no requirement for monthly payments. Contact us for more information on margin loans.
Every day you wake up with the world in the palm of your hand. Making connections and creating memories and sharing them with the people you care about. Every day, the world is at your fingertips, and you can experience every blockbuster movie in stunning HD and top 100 Billboard music hit with the touch of a button. Every day, your family and friends are important to you, and staying in touch no matter where you are in the Bahamas or the world is your #1 priority. And that's why, every day for over 100 years, BTC has been there to ensure that every Bahamian has the best connection to the world. We cover every island, rock, and key, regardless of the cost. This is BTC Country.
Move forward, Bahamas, and build high into the sky. Move upward and colorize those new walls. Move onward and build a garden to last a lifetime. Move together and settle into that new home. There's a lot of places you can do it for yourself, but there's one place to do it right. Builders Mall. We know exactly what motto you live by, and even the pros know building is just a part of what we do. So move forward, Bahamas. And remember, you can find it all at Builders Mall.
We'll be with you through new beginnings.
and sunset endings. Through toil and many tears. Through the joys and many fears. For all of life's ever-changing moments, trust J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers for all of your insurance needs. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
Free, reliable, anytime, anywhere, and instant. That's the benefits of using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Pay bills, check account balances, transfer funds, and more. Enjoy the freedom of banking on your own terms. Why wait in line? Save time. Do your banking using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean to find out more.
The performance speaks for itself. Pennzoil Synthetics, made from natural gas. Make the switch.
It's time now for a check on the Labor Day weather forecast. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us live in studio with the latest temperatures. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, LaDawn. A very sad Labor Day, and our condolences go out to all the families who lost loved ones today. Right now, we're going to pause to take a look at temperatures around the Family Violence, and they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 82 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Tulkey in Abaco, Marsh, Abaco at 83 degrees. Here in the capital, 82 as well. Harbor Island, Eleuthera, 79 degrees. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 80 degrees. 80 also in Otterstown, Cat Island. Stanley Key in Exuma Chain, Kemps Bay, South Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. More 80s in San Salvador, Rum Key, and Georgetown. Exuma, it extends further into Clarencetown, Long Island. Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Megwana, Acklands, Ragged Island, Matthew-Town, and Niagara, warmer still at 82, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 80 degrees. Your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the northwest and central islands, the winds will be southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and your wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. High tide takes place later on tonight at 9:48. In the southeast Bahamas, winds up a little bit out of the southeast at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. Hence, we have a caution flag in place for you boaters in the southeast Bahamas. Tomorrow, in the northwest and central islands, no change. The winds remain southeasterly at 10 to 15 knots. The wave height holding at 2 to 4 feet. High tide 10:09 in the morning, low tide at 4:07 in the afternoon. For the southeastern islands, winds southeast once again, 12 to 18 knots. The wave height 3 to 5 feet. We'll drop the caution flag for you boaters in the southeast Bahamas tomorrow. And then taking you into Sunday in the northwestern parts of our country, the winds will swing out of the southwest to west, and there's going to be a little low developing to the west of us. We'll talk more about that later in the forecast. 10 to 15 knots will be the speeds, and the wave heights remaining 2 to 4 feet. High tide 10:53 in the morning, low tide at 4:51 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands on Sunday, southeast winds, they fall off to 10 to 15 knots, wave heights subsiding 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. And that's going to do it for your boating forecast. It is time now for your trial forecast, and your trial forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your trial forecast, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is coming up in about 20 minutes.
Welcome to Tips for Wellness. I'm Dr. Indira Grimes. Talking to your child about sex doesn't have to be difficult or embarrassing. Have the conversation early and often. Your home will become a safe and comfortable environment for your child to ask questions. Your child needs to hear accurate information about sex from you. This includes the basics: vaginal, oral, and anal sex, birth control, sexual assault, sexual molestation, and your family's moral beliefs. Your child needs to know that he or she can talk with you about sex. They can talk with you about their changing bodies, their feelings, their concerns, and their confusion. You don't have to know all of the answers to their questions. However, you should be willing to help them find those answers. Help them do the research. When you don't know the answers, you want to be approachable. You want them to feel comfortable talking with you about sex. Don't wait until your child asks you about sex before you find the right words. Plan ahead at every age and stage. Be prepared to discuss all kinds of sexual activity as well as same-sex relationships. This has been Tips for Wellness. I'm Dr. Indira Grimes. Live your best life by living well.
Every day at KFC, our cooks begin with the freshest pieces of chicken, hand breading and seasoning before cooking to golden perfection, making chicken that's hot, fresh, and ready for you to grab and head to your favorite spot for a meal with friends and family. The secret to preparing the world's juiciest, tastiest chicken, bundled with a variety of delicious sides, is real cooks who love what they do. Taste the KFC difference. Fresh prepared, in-store daily. KFC Nassau, it's finger-licking good.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evo.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evo.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Buy Pampers and you can pin it to win it. Guess how many diaper pins are on display at Pritchard's? You could win up to $2,000 for the closest guess. Buy Pampers and pin it to win it today.
Want to pay less? Or want to save more? Do both. Just bundle your bills into one low-rate loan with Commonwealth Bank. With a consolidation loan at Commonwealth Bank, you'll enjoy one easy monthly payment, plus the chance to win $5,000. So move your loans from other banks to Commonwealth Bank and get ready to pay less and save more.
No matter what your goals are in life, you have to start somewhere. It all begins with Leno. Leno, bridging possibilities. Call us at 396-3225 or email info@lenobahamas.com.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
everybody. Some college baseball news starting us off tonight. Perez Knowles and the Columbus State Cougars advancing to play for the Division II National Championship following a 3-2 loss to Florida Southern yesterday. The same two teams hooked up this afternoon with a berth in the final on the line, and Columbus State would prevail 11-6. Knowles and the Cougars will be right back at it tomorrow at 12 noon against Augustana out of South Dakota. Team Bahamas finishing up pool play today at the Americas Group 3 Davis Cup tie in Costa Rica, and the 2-4-2 still undefeated after a dominating performance against Bermuda. Jody Turnquest got the first taste of singles action at this tie, and he opened up with a 6-2, 6-2 victory. Baker Newman also won his match in straight set 6-4-1. As for the doubles, Marvin Roll teamed with Philip Major. They won 6-1-4. The Bahamas now on to the crossover semifinals tomorrow. They will take on the second place team from Pool A, which is the host country, Costa Rica. A win there is needed to advance back to Group 2 in 2019. Back here at home, the Long Island Regatta winding down in Salt Pond. Our Vaughn Aubrey, he is standing by with the very latest.
The mic open, right?
Jonathan, we're live here at the Salt Pond Regatta, and those of us here in Long Island would like to extend our condolences to those affected by today's incident in New Providence. But here is the scene at the regatta site here in Salt Pond, Long Island. There are hundreds of persons here, many of them just coming in today aboard yachts from places as close as Exuma and as far away as York, Pennsylvania, and places outside of the Bahamas. There was a lot of racing here in Salt Pond today. Here are the results of the early races. And Flying Fish Marina Cup race, first was Witty K with Stephen Knowles. Second, It Ain't Right with Andrew Wilhoit of Abaco. Third, Legal Weapon, Magic Pinder out of Exuma. Fourth was Xena, David Knowles out of Mangrove Bush. And fifth was Lady Eunice with Joshua Green out of Black Point. Class G, the children's race, once again, Vitamin C came in first with Paloma Cartwright. Second was 204.468. Third, 39.75. Fourth, Isaac. And fifth, Enrique the Doctor. In Class B, the BTC Cup race, once again in first, Stephen Knowles aboard the new Susan Chase 5. Second is older brother Mark Knowles in Old Boy. Third was Leslie Buzzy Roll out of Exuma aboard the Lady Sonia. Fourth was Lonesome Dove with Andrew Wilhoit out of Abaco. And fifth, Tari Ann with Dallas Knowles out of Exuma. In the point standings in Class C after two races, the Witty K leads with 36 points, followed by Xena with 31, Crazy Partner 27, It Ain't Right 26, and tied for fifth, Barely Legal and Legal Weapon with 23 points. In Class B, the point standings after two races. First, the new Susan Chase 5 with Stephen Knowles, 22 points. Second, Old Boy with Mark Knowles, 20. And rounding up third, the Lady Sonia with Leslie Buzzy Roll out of Exuma, 17 points. And there was a last race of the day. What was Class A? Here are the principals of the Class A, the winners. The new legend, that was skippered by Mark Knowles. Now they defeated Stephen Knowles, who has been winning 5 consecutive races here at the 51st Annual Long Island Regatta. And there's Emil Knowles, a cousin, and Mr. Keith Carroll. Yeah, Keith Carroll considers himself the coach. Now, Emil, what was that victory like?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk. We just went out there, did what we have to do, and we let her sail a clean race, and that was that.
But this is all a Mangrove Bush and Knowles affair. That's what it's turning out to be.
Yeah, well, you know, we love the sport and we try to keep it up. It's very expensive, but we just like it. You know, it's in the DNA. It's in the blood.
It's in the DNA. Another day of sailing. What's next?
Well, tomorrow, the legend and the running tide is going in the race tie. So tomorrow is a new day. Seemingly regatta just start tomorrow, and at the end of the day, it will be the new legend. we're going to dethrone Stephen Knowles. You give me the more Stephen Knowles after tomorrow.
And that he's talking about his cousin. This is a Long Island affair. But there's so much more tonight here at the Regatta Park because there's a concert featuring the Long Island Connection Band and Emil and Gino D reporting live from the Regatta site here in Salts Pond. I am Vaughn Albury, ZNS Total Sports.
Well, thanks a lot, Vaughn. And we can tell you there's also sailing this weekend in the Big Yard. For more on that, here's Charles Fisher.
Just trying to be out here in South Andres, and I'm telling you, this place is loaded with people. Yesterday, all the planes at the airport came in loaded. We came out on the flight, no seat available. And then, first thing this morning, the Captain Moxie and the Seaman both came in with persons on board. We're now joined by the Commodore of this year's Regatta, Stafford and Bristol and Stafford. We had some sailing today, and it proves that this year is going to be a very good one.
Yeah, for what I was saying, man, I went on the dock last night. This Regatta is kind of outdoing itself this year because the amount of people that I see coming to South Andres. We had the Captain Moxie, we had the Sea Link, we have now the Wine coming in, and we have another boat from Tom Holland, and then we also have the Rosalind. All these boats are loaded with people and cars. I don't know, we need space on this island to maintain all these people, but the Regatta itself is really getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We have the boats from, San Salvador, we have the boats from Nassau, we have the boats from Mangrove Key. And believe it or not, the persons, every time I speak with anybody on the boat, they're talking about, man, we're going to South Andres to that Regatta.
Okay, there you have it from Stafford and Bristol. So you still have one more day to make your way on down here to South Andres, a full day of sailing. I'll be waiting on you.
The Providence Softball Association was back on the diamond last night at the Blue Hill Sporting Complex. In the ladies' opener, the Sunshine Auto Wildcats put a blank job on the Panthers, winning 10-0.
It's okay with the performance, but with the offense, I think we could work a little more on it. The ball come in a little slow, so it was kind of difficult to make the adjustments to hitting the ball tonight. We won't take no team here for granted. Even the alive strikers, because any given night, anybody can beat you.
As for the men's feature game, this one all about the CNS Hitmen. They took care of the Chances Mighty Mitts by a final of 10-2. And that will do it for sports. Stay tuned, the Bahamas Tonight comes back after the break.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
60% of women are wearing the wrong size pad and can experience leaks. Discover Always MyFit. Find the number that's right for your flow and panty size on the top of any Always pack. The better the fit, the better it protects. Always.
Women everywhere count on Always. And now when you buy any 2 packs of Always pads, you can enter to win a $1,500 travel gift card or $500 cash. Buy Always pads and enter to win.
BTC is giving the gift of rollover data, plus free unlimited WhatsApp calls, texts, pictures, and videos. Choose from our 1-day plan for $349, 7-day plan for $999, or our 15-day plan for only $29.99. We've even thrown in unlimited BTC to BTC calls and texts. Dial *203# to activate your plan today. Share every moment with BTC. Terms and conditions apply.
What's a smart way to refresh your home this season? Get inspired by Carpet and Cabinet World. See how easy it is to transform your living room and kitchen with our wide variety of flooring and cabinet options. We offer top quality in the latest styles in ceramic, porcelain, and wood. Did you know we're also fully stocked with state-of-the-art forward horizontal blinds? Stop by Cabinet World to explore the exciting possibilities with our customized cabinetry to suit your budget, style, and taste. Carpet and Cabinet World. We make it happen. Get your free quote today.
I dreamt of you as a little girl. I didn't know if I would ever find you. But I knew it from the moment I laid eyes on you. That you were perfect for me. Today, I marry my best friend. Today, I marry you. I began my happily ever after at Platinum Bride Couture.
Adrian Gibson. Now the Bahamas residents can fly or cruise free to the Family Islands. What are your summer vacation plans?
I'm gonna go to Long Island, and you should come too.
And there's no better time than now with the 2 Fly or Cruise Free promotion, where all residents of the Bahamas can fly or cruise free to the Family Islands from Nassau. Let's go. Refresh, reconnect, and unwind in the Family Islands. For details, go to bahamasresidents.com and fly or cruise free to the Family Islands today.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather today is the first day of June, and it also marks the start of the 2018 tropical cyclone season. And as you can see, it is very quiet in the tropics, but that will all change in time as all of the seasonal predictions expect an above average hurricane season. And you should be ensure that you have taken care of all of those pre-hurricane precautions to ensure that if you are treading, you are able to weather out the storm. And stay tuned daily to the local weather forecast to keep abreast with all that is happening in the tropics. On the home front, we have some tropical moisture still lurking around the western part of the Bahamas, and the computer models are also just suggesting that an area of low pressure could develop just to the west of Andros tomorrow, and that could enhance some shower activity in the afternoon hours. The forecast for tonight, though, goes for partly cloudy conditions with the low temperature getting down to 76 degrees, and tomorrow it's going to be partly sunny for the most part, but in the afternoon there could be some cloudy periods with 1 or 2 showers developing. High temperature 84 degrees, and extended weather forecast keeping you in the mid-80s. Things start to get a little warmer as we head into the early part of next week, but an abundance of sunshine remain in the forecast over the next several days, so do enjoy the weekend that is coming up, and the winds are also falling off quite nicely. So for those of you who could not enjoy the beaches over the last several days because of the wind condition, well, things are now returning to some degree of normalcy.
Such a tragedy this Labor Day.
Very, very tragic.
Did you know any of the victims?
None of the victims, but one of the ladies that got injured, I'm told, I'm quite familiar with her, and I guess I will be touching base a little later on.
And special condolences to the victims' family on behalf of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. And with that, we end the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. For all of us here at ZNS, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great evening, everyone.
TV. Look, I on TV. Mom, guess what it is? That's me. Bartender, do you see me? I on television. I gotta tell my girlfriend I on television.